Good morning, students. Today we are going to start new chapter, Morphology of Flowering Plant. See, morphology means which deals with the study of form, structure and relative position of different organs. It may be external or internal. Clear? So both external morphology and internal morphology we have to study. And anatomy is a branch of biology that deals with the study of internal structure which is exposed after dissection and opening of various parts. So, what is the importance of morphology? Morphology gives particular counter to the body of an organism. It gives information of homology and analogy of the organ. It is the field of biology which requires knowledge of morphology, where it is helpful. In forensic science, identifies article on the basis of knowledge of morphology. Food processing also requires the help of morphology. So there are many such fields in which morphology is helpful. Flowering plants or angiosperms are seed plants in which seeds are enclosed inside fruits and the sporophylls are organized into flowers. See, they are geologically the youngest group of plant which appeared on the earth. And there is very diverse habits, habitats, modes of nutrition, lifespan. Everything is variable depending upon the habitat and types. Now, each and every flowering plants have root system and shoot system. Root means which is below the ground, and shoot system means parts which are present above the ground. So, now we are going to discuss different parts and its morphology. Now let us start one by one. The arrangement of flower on floral axis is known as inflorescence. Basically, inflorescence are of two types depending on whether the apex get transformed into a flower or grows indefinitely. Okay, so it is cymose and racemose. Clear? The axis which bears flower is called peduncle and the stalk of each flower is called pedicel. Tip of pedicel get enlarged, that is called thalamus, which bear different whorls of flower. Okay, with the help of diagram also you can easily see pedicel, thalamus, and thalamus bear different whorls of flower. Now, racemose. See, in racemose the peduncle is elongated and the flowers are pedicellate. In some plants, racemose is branched and it is known as panicle. Like we can take the example of oats and all, and few other modification is also there, like they have elongated axis with sessile flower, for example grasses, in some spikes with fleshy axis containing both male and female flower, and some are spikelets, which is a unit of spike enclosing 3 to 5 flowers. Okay, and these spikelets are arranged in a manner of spikes. So there are different modification in racemose. Now next inflorescence is cymose. It is a apical meristem of peduncle which produces the first flower, and the next flower are found on the lateral branches produced below it. So with the help of diagram also you can easily see the difference of arrangement in cymose and racemose. Okay, so in cymose the first flower grows at the apex, and after that the next flower are found on the lateral branches produced below it. It may be uniparous, biparous or multiparous. Uni means single lateral branch, biparous means two lateral branches, and poly or multiparous in that more than two lateral branches and each ending into a flower. Now let us start flowers. Already we know that in a typical flower, different kinds of whorls are arranged on thalamus. It consists of calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. See, calyx and corolla are considered as accessory whorls, whereas androecium and gynoecium are essential. See, calyx and corolla, it is accessory because it is just needed for pollination and it gives attraction for the insects. Okay, so but androecium and gynoecium are essential plant. There may be both male and female flowers on the same plant or different. That is, it may be monoecious or dioecious. Now, if we are talking about types of flower, now based on the appendages of number of floral appendages, there may be of three types: trimerous, tetramerous or pentamerous. That when the flower of these appendages is 3, 4 or 5 or in their multiple, they are termed as trimerous, tetramerous or pentamerous. See, pentamerous nature is a dicot feature, means it is present in a dicot plants, and trimerous is present in monocot plants. Next type is based on the symmetry. Now on the basis of symmetry, flowers can be actinomorphic, zygomorphic or asymmetric. Actinomorphic means when flowers can be divided into two equal halves when cut lengthwise passing through the center. Okay, actinomorphic means it can be divided into two halves. Now zygomorphic means it can be divided into two similar halves only in a particular vertical plane. That is also termed as bilateral symmetry. And asymmetry is when it cannot be divided into two similar halves. Next is position of flower leaves on thalamus. Now depending upon the relative position of sepals, petals, stamen and carpel on thalamus, flowers can be of three types: hypogynous, epigynous and perigynous. Now what is hypogynous? When the position of ovary is topmost with respect to the other floral parts like sepal, petals and stamen, then it is termed as hypogynous. Hypo means superior. Okay, so when position of ovary is at the top of the other floral parts, it is termed as hypogynous. Example, Liliaceae, Solanaceae. It is common in these flowers. Okay. Next is perigynous. Perigynous means when the ovary is half inside the thalamus and half outside it, and it is free from thalamus. It is also known as half superior, or we can say half inferior. The flower is, which are perigynous, we can take the example of rose, peach, plum, etc. And last is epigynous. In this, the position of ovary is lowermost inside the thalamus, and it is also known as inferior ovary. Okay, so now we have completed inflorescence and position of, or we can say types of flowers depending upon symmetry, position of sepals and petals, and number of appendages. So just note down the points and watch the video properly. Thank you. Have a nice day.